Good enough. Then I'm going to call the meeting to order at probably 8:31 by now.
Still 8:30, you're good.
It is? Okay. Certification of open meetings laws, I believe they have been met. Adoption of agenda. The printed agenda that we have is one short item. New item number 9 is the print services resolution with Tim. And then each one changes a number after that for a 15 agenda item.
Move to approve.
Yes, and I'll second that.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign, carried. Minutes from the previous meeting.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
Motion and second. Any questions? Comments? Corrections? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
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 Negative? None? We do have a public comment period of up to 15 minutes for a comment on today's agenda items. Members may be present in person or to make such comments or call in. To comment by phone, please call 715-538-1894. Public comment may be extended or curtailed at discretion of the committee board chair after advisement from the committee board. I don't see anybody in the room. I don't see the phone ringing. We will leave it open for a little while in case somebody does want to, and we'll move on. County sales tax update. Are you here, Paul?
I am here. Yes, the February payment, which would have been for December, is $326,360.30, bringing us a total of $2.782 million. So $2,782,149.35, which puts us $482,149.35 over our budget.
Yeah, good. And Forward Analytics had projected us at 2.8 million, so they weren't far off.
Right, right. And that's what you budgeted
Budgeted.
for this year.
Because next year they projected us at 2.9 was their analysis. Okay, thank you on that. General fund?
The only change was in January, so there was no update for this month. So it's
Okay,
the same.
which brings for a question to me.
Sure.
The 2023, the food pantry. Didn't that get paid? So that should have been in 23's. Why is that still on our 24 agenda?
24 agenda,
Or, I mean, our 24 paperwork, I'll call it then.
because it was done in February of '23,
Okay,
and we haven't finished the audit, so that's why it's there
it's still
yet.
there till audit. Okay,
Yep.
okay, I thought that. Thank you for that.
Yep.
Departments, reports, and requests. Joe is up with the veterans.
Thank you.
All right, good morning, everyone.
Morning.
So, just to get started, the office currently has 141 active claims that we're working right now. Those are just within the federal system, not any state benefits or anything like that. Those are just our federal claims that we have going right now. Then I just did a little bit of an update of these are the federal benefits being paid by the VA to Trempealeau County right now. We currently have just over 1,800 veterans who are receiving benefits. These are federal benefits, so either education or disability or a pension of some sort. Total, that brings in almost $21 million in basically money into the pockets of Trempealeau County. That's being paid, 11 million of that is the compensation and pension side. The rest of it is gonna be a mixture of education benefits, medical care, and insurance, VA insurance, and things like that. In total, we have 723 veterans who are utilizing their VA healthcare benefits, which I think is actually very, very low. With 1,800 veterans that receive benefits, they should all be eligible for VA healthcare. So I feel like that's a point that we're gonna try and start pushing with veterans in our community, is start using your VA healthcare. You have it. If you don't use it, you lose it. And so I want to make sure our veterans know that and get out there and do what they need to do. State benefit-wise.
Excuse me, Joe, can I ask a question on that?
Yep.
Do you have any idea what the reason is? Rumors out in the world, talk about sometimes the veterans' healthcare not being top-notch.
Exactly.
Is that part of the concern, maybe?
I think that's part of it. I think it's also just a lack of knowledge.
Okay.
And that's something I want to really work on. In our radio spots we have every month, we've kind of worked out now that it's going to be a mixture of ourselves, my office, and then Buffalo County as well as Jackson County have both agreed to come on and do the radio show as well on alternating weeks. So we're really trying to get the word out there that this is what you're eligible for. You're a veteran, you're eligible for health care. Even if you receive 0% disability, you are eligible for VA health care for life. But a lot of our veterans either don't know that or don't utilize it. And I think a lot of veterans are under the impression that if you have VA health care, you have to go to TOMA. And that's not true. If you have VA health care, VA will pay for you to go anywhere as long as you see a VA physician once a year. So that's going down to La Crosse, that's doing a telehealth visit, anything like that. As long as you do that once a year visit, they'll pay for you to go to Gunderson. They'll pay for you to go to Mayo or any local provider. And I think that's a huge change that happened several years ago that just maybe has not been disseminated properly.
And the big thing is the drugs you can get there, even though it's prescribed someplace else.
Yep, and VA will pay for that, and VA will then mail them to you.
Yep.
So for myself even, I go to Gunderson for all my medical care, and VA gives me the prescriptions for it. So it gets mailed to my house, 90-day supply. I don't even worry about it because they just show up when I need them. So yeah, moving along. State benefits.
Thank you, by the way.
Yeah, very welcome. We only have had 5 new applications for GI Bill. Again, another number that I thought was very low. However, the population of veterans in our community is relatively low when it comes to veterans who would be wanting to utilize their GI Bill. I only have a handful of veterans who are under the age of 50 in the county together. And I feel like that's also another issue of needing to reach out and try and bring in that younger population of veterans. We have the unit in Arcadia. We have veterans who live in the area, but they're not actively looking for their benefits. And I think that's a huge issue right now across the entire VA landscape, is because younger veterans don't think they need it. And then you run across that issue of use it or lose it. And it's definitely been an issue with Vietnam-era veterans, even Persian Gulf-era veterans who haven't used their benefits. They come in 20, 30, 40, 50 years after getting out of service wanting benefits, and you lost them after 5 years if you didn't use them. So it's definitely been a struggle trying to explain how that works and kind of what we can do to try and remedy those issues. The next thing on here, this is the property tax credit. We currently have 76 veterans living in the community that are rated at 100% and are utilizing their state tax credit, which is basically they're getting reimbursed for their property tax, which is actually a really awesome number. 76 veterans. It's kind of feel like, yeah, we did good in those. Then moving on to the van. So I I wasn't able to give you guys this update when it happened, but we did get the van. We have the license plates finally. The van has been running pretty steadily. Just about every day of the week we have drives. So far we've had 94 drives since we've gotten the van going. We do still have several volunteers that are picking up the slack in between of those kind of once a day drives. We're really, really hammering down on trying to make sure that they're staying within those limits, but some of it we just can't avoid. We have a specific veteran that has Saturday appointments, and so far that's just being handled solely by a volunteer because it's a Saturday appointment, and we don't have a driver who's able to do that who's not a volunteer. We also started requesting, it's kind of always been there, the mandatory co-pays for travel, but it wasn't really enforced. And that was going back many, many years, even before Steve, that yes, you're supposed to pay for your travel, but we're really not gonna come after you for it. Now it's more of if you want to ride and you're new to the program, we're telling you right up front, this is how much it's going to cost. You know, you have to pay your mileage that you receive from VA. And some veterans don't qualify for travel pay. In those cases, we do what we can to help the veteran because that's what we're here for. But the majority of veterans who receive VA healthcare, as long as you are going to a VA-ordered appointment, you get travel pay. So the deal is you pay us what the VA pays you, because that just makes sense if we're giving you the ride. Then lastly, just some updates on office business, things like that. Wade was finally approved to get his accreditation. His background check was completed, his federal background check. He completed all of his training. Now we're just waiting for him to get his fingerprints and to move forward with the remaining portion so he can get himself moved in, which will definitely help a lot. Currently, I've been handling all of the claims within VA system because I don't have somebody else to jump in there and help. He is working very independently, but everything he does still has to be submitted through me because he doesn't have his accreditation approved yet. The spring CVSO conference has been scheduled for the April 15th through the 19th in Green Bay. One of us is going to go to that. I don't know which one yet. We're just not sure. It's all going to depend on some other issues that we have in the office right now. We have some kind of pressing issues with a few veterans that are going to require one of us to be in the office for sure that week. So we're just kind of juggling right now to see which one of us is going to go. One of those issues is not really an issue, but Jeremiah Segerstam. He is one of our veterans up in the Oliva area. He is terminal, 45 years old with 5 kids. And we have been working very, very closely with his family and the VA. He's only rated at 40%, which is absolute BS, in my opinion. So we're working very hard to get him bumped to 100% since he does have a terminal diagnosis. It's only logical then that he should be rated fully disabled. As we all know, he lost his job, has been out of work. The Veterans Office, along with the American Legion, the VFW, have donated upwards of $10,000 just to his family right now in this time. We've also been working really closely with Representative Van Orden and Senator Baldwin on his case. Both Representative Van Orden and Senator Baldwin have reached out to VA to try and expedite his case. The expedite was approved, but that's still been close to 6 months we're sitting on it, and it's just ridiculous. And even now, we got really excited last week because we saw that VA finally made a decision, but their decision was to defer it to get more information, which is just mind-boggling to me considering the mountain of evidence that we've already provided to VA on it. But so anyways, he is having the American Legion is sponsoring a family benefit for him on April 13th. The governor has been informed. The Secretary of the VA will be there for the state of Wisconsin. Senator Baldwin has been invited. Representative Van Orden will be there. And we're working to try and get as many people as we can to just have a massive show of support for Jeremiah and his family. So I just wanted to put that out there one more time, that please, anything you guys can do or disseminate that information to make sure people know when that is, have as many people as we can come to that. And then lastly, just an update, both the transportation and CVSO grants were submitted and approved at this point. The CVSO grant was submitted initially back in January, but was returned because Trempealeau County now has an admin, and we needed a letter from the admin in the packet. So I was able to get that from Becky and got it resubmitted, in VA, or Wisconsin Department of Veteran Affairs was able to approve it for us. And that is it. Any other questions?
Any questions, anybody? Thank you, Joe. Quarterly update from Corporation Counsel, and I was told she's not able to be here. So that'll get moved to April. Possible sources of funding for the courthouse renovation, and,
This is where actually on the agenda is where Tim is.
oh, wait a minute, Tim's there first, that's right. Yep,
You have a copy of the resolution?
No. I don't, should have been out on the web.
yep, it was. I actually,
Yeah.
if I found it, it was definitely there.
I can look at it on Facebook. And then there were 2 attachments also. This was the wrap. I got mine.
Yep.
Thank you, sir. Well, I've got it pulled up.
Printed it, you might as well look at it.
Okay. Soon as you're ready, Tim, to give us the lowdown and update or whatever.
We signed a contract in May of last year with a company or an outfit called Copier Consulting. Al Keitzman is the proprietor and the consultant. He is an expert on print services and printing. As he was in the industry for years, he's testified before the State of Assembly and Senate regarding their practices. Last summer, we got a quote to extend our agreement with E.O. Johnson, the current print services contract holder, for $8,000 a quarter, which is what we set the budget at for this year. But it basically contained all the same equipment that we currently have, which much of it is starting to expire, so the cost was likely to go up. So I decided to move forward and engage the services of Mr. Keitzman and Copier Consulting. Property Committee approved this project, and basically the funding mechanism, how he gets paid, is he gets 1/3 of the savings. Determining what the last 5 years of our contract actually contained took months because, well, this is a public meeting. I won't speak ill of our current print services contract holder, but we saw a 30% decline in printing in the first 2.5 years of the contract, and an additional 10% in the last 2.5, and the promised reduction in cost never happened because they magically found a way to keep charging the same amount. So I became frustrated with our current print services holders. That's why we moved forward with the RFP. And once we did that, once we determined there was savings, I have to provide 1/3 of those savings to Mr. Keitzman. In essence, we're looking at about $10,500 per quarter for the new contract that is going to be awarded to, I screw up the name every time, Bauernfeind Business Technology out of Marshfield. BBT is what I'm going to call them because I can't pronounce that. They came in as the lowest rate. We also, as part of his work, Al also compared to the state contract rates. Had we gone with them, instead of $188,963.39 as our total cost for 5 years, it would have been $399,242. So the state didn't put together a very good deal. So we verified in 2 ways, one with the RFP, one against the state contract, that we did get the lowest price. The beauty of this particular agreement is that after 5 years, it's all brand new equipment for all 25 devices that are going out. They could have a lifespan as long as 10 years. And we don't have to pay the lease anymore after the end of the 5-year contract. So even though we're paying a little more per month in the first 5 years than what we budgeted with E.O. Johnson, everything is clearly marked out for the next 7 to 10 years. We'll know exactly what we're spending. It's clearly defined. There's no shenanigans. We only pay for what we use. There's no print amounts in advance that say you have to print so much. You know, they give you 100,000 prints per month of black and white and 30,000 of color. Well, if you don't use it, you lose it. So it's a counterproductive method of function. And so this is, we only pay for what you use. So based on our current baselines, it'd be about $10,500 a month. The current contract is $14,500 a month. So the actual savings over the first 5 years is closer to $76,000, not the amount we're paying, the $41,000, because we don't have to include the devices we didn't replace. We've worked a lot to make sure we were comparing apples to apples, to make sure that we weren't ripping Mr. Keitzman off, nor were we paying him too much. And then the beauty is he doesn't get any of the savings in year 6, year 7, year 8, year 9. The amount goes up substantially. We'll be saving $1,850 a month because lease costs are gone. At year 5, we own all these devices for $1. So as long as these devices continue to be supportable and maintainable, the contract with BBT will go on with slight increases in the per page cost, and we will save close to $200,000 on this agreement, and we only have to pay him $13,000. So this worked out really well for the county. Any questions?
I'm good with it. I suppose at this point, we should probably read the resolution. Are you interested in reading it, Tim?
I could be persuaded. My nose is running, though. Be aware. Might be drip. Transfer from the general fund to the IT professional services account for payment of the print services RFP consultant. Whereas the Trempealeau County Information Technology Department, at the direction of the Property Committee, did enter into an agreement for print services consulting with Copier Consulting LLC, and whereas the consulting work is now successfully completed and the savings to Trempealeau County have been established, and whereas Copier Consulting LLC is now owed 1/3 of the savings obtained in the new 60-month print services contract, and whereas the 5-year cost of our previous print services contract for like devices came to $230,000, $272.91, and whereas the new agreement for the next 5 years will cost $188,963.39 for print services on new like devices for a total savings of $41,309.52, of which 1/3 equals $13,632.14. Now be it resolved that the Trempealeau County Board of Supervisors approve the transfer of $13,632.14 from the unassigned general fund 101.32100 into the Information Technology Professional Services account 101-51450.210 to cover the cost of the consulting services.
Move to approve.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion. Okay, motion and second to approve. Now we're open for discussion.
So as far as maintenance and any other kind of things that, how is this company with that response time and things like that?
Their location in Marchfield, they have technicians that are available that are within 90 minutes on all calls. It's pretty much the same agreement that we had previously for service with E.O. Johnson. They have contract with Whitehall Schools. I'll be verifying with references that everything meets standards before the full board meets. Yeah, they have several local customers.
And this request comes about based on, Tim, I had a little conversation. At budget time, the numbers were unclear what they were going to be, and it was decided to not try to put this number in as a good guess and draw it from general fund when the time came. That was kind of the agreement at budget time.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote to approve. All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you, Dave.
I think we put Dave to sleep.
And against? Nothing? Carried.
You want to sign this one?
Only if you give it to me.
Yeah, our copier wasn't working this morning either.
It's working, but our paper cut license expired, so you can't do follow me printing. The contract was supposed to be up with E.O. Johnson on February 20th, so the paper cut ran out. They extended it to the end of the month, but told me they extended it to the end of March, but the license file died on Friday, so we've been waiting for them to get back to me. But I also told them on Friday they didn't win the RFP, so maybe this is punishment for not giving them the contract.
Okay. Now we can move on to the possible sources of funding for the courthouse renovation.
You should have copies of that in your
Yep, someplace, I saw it. And eventually I'll find it. There it is, right here.
It's just a little, like this.
Yep, there, and here. Okay,
So, you want me to talk a little bit about it?
if you've got something to say, that would be appreciated.
Okay. I took the flex interest off because that money is used towards the flex plan, so that one got off. Down on the bottom where it says county sales tax, that is the actual amount now that we're over
Okay,
our budgeted amount. Still, I also dropped that contingency for the Justice Center project because Kurt said that it was going to be more than like 300,000 rather than 400,000.
okay.
And so this would be what we're at the end of December, that we have to designate this before we close the books. Otherwise, all these monies will close into the general fund. And I think you want to allocate those monies before that happens.
Okay, did we get bids in and opened and any kind of decisions from property?
They delayed it to, because it was supposed to be, the end of February. No, they delayed it another month. It's like, Tim, do you know? Huh?
I think March 20th?
Yeah, down at the latter part of March. So we
Okay.
haven't got any bids.
And the books close out, what, April?
No, it'll be closer to June, but
June.
you'd
Okay,
want
okay.
to do it earlier. So that-
Well, somewhat earlier anyway, but we can still possibly hold off until we see a bid before we make any of these decisions, or I defer to you for opinion.
Oh, I think the thought is also in talking with Dan Schreiner and
One of the Kurtz.
Kurt, yeah, one of the Kurtz, thank you. So in talking with them is the thought of
Did you
waiting.
turn your mic on?
Push the button.
Oh, okay. Is waiting until the election process happens.
Okay.
So that in case there are changes, that we're starting that conversation with the full board.
Okay.
I don't think it hurts, though, to set aside the funds in this manner now and have them put us, so that Paul can continue his work, knowing that something will happen eventually on that.
So just,
And I'll have to bring a resolution to county board on this also, because these will all be put into a non-lapsing account so that it will carry over to the next year is what I want.
okay.
Yep. So this committee still meets next month before the
Right,
election.
yep.
That's, yes, because they'll meet the day before the election. I think that's going to be called lame duck, but. But then at least I'll have a resolution written, or we'll have one written.
And then your plan is that whole 3,788,000
That's what I'm,
will go in the resolution to be put in a
a non-lapsing
separate
account.
but equal non-lapsing account?
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else have any opinions? Hearing no other opinions, I guess that's what we'll move towards, Paul.
Okay.
Okay? The discussion action on ARPA funds, I guess that kind of coincided with that.
Right, and that number is still the 1,787,523.58. That has to be allocated before the end of the year, but if you guys can do it now, I mean, or in February, April,
Okay.
we'll get that taken care of.
And basically, all the resolution for the non-lapsing account is say it's all for courthouse renovations. Now, I heard a rumor that you were looking at or thinking about trying to find some grant money towards that too.
We
Will
are,
us having money in an account designated to that, will that affect our grant?
no, it would actually, I mean, that'll help us. We have to have some,
Okay.
we have to have or, some type of match that will
Okay.
help with that,
Okay.
yeah. So we do have to actually have set aside funds that would.
Okay, and we can't have too much.
Well, right. So, this is, I would say that will determine kind of what portion, if we have to use all of that or not. But
Okay.
I think that this is a fair portion to say that we have set aside for the amount of ask that we're looking for.
Okay.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
do we have to go back to 9A or what?
9,
Well, the one we added.
yeah? What's that?
We did that, that's what Tim was.
That was what Tim was.
Oh, that was Tim.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
now I'm looking. Okay, fine, sorry.
Approving the 13,000 plus from the general fund to pay the advisor, whatever he was. Okay, that covered ARPA, FEMA funds.
Nothing. we haven't heard
Nothing,
of.
yep. Lost cause, I write down. On the LATCF grant funds,
I think you basically took care of that when you
did this,
did
that's what I
this
kind of thought too.
allocation or possible funds.
Yep. Okay. Date and time of the next meeting.
It'll be April 1st at 8:30.
Oh, what a day to have a meeting, huh?
Day before the elections, yeah.
I wasn't thinking about that, I was
It's
thinking
April
about,
Fools.
Oh, no, nobody will show up then.
And the courthouse is open that day,
Yeah,
even though it's Easter Monday or whatever.
yeah, don't have Easter in the courthouse.
we don't even get Good Friday off anymore.
No, no. Okay, did you have anything you wanted to add to, for, okay. With that, look for a motion to adjourn.
One question.
Okay,
We have a meeting tomorrow?
yeah. 4 o'clock.
Okay.
I assume that will be in this room also?
Yes,
That's joint,
And is the agenda done yet?
yes. You'll be getting that very soon, but that is the joint meeting tomorrow. I should have said that. Joint meeting between personnel bargaining and exec finance. 4 o'clock tomorrow in this room.
in this room, okay.
And just quite a bit on that agenda now.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, there is. It's been building.
It's things that got taken off of this exec meeting.
Yeah.
That went over to that one, and
A question I got from a phone call this morning, because the online version of this agenda had highway on today. Is there any reason that Neil would need to be here for this meeting, for tomorrow?
No.
No, okay, 'cause he's got a dentist appointment at
Okay.
that time, so.
Yeah.
Okay, no.
Okay.
You want to let him know?
I'll let
that?
him know.
Okay.
Okay,
so I just got a question then. If yours is way back at the agenda with highway still on it, that was one of the first amendments we did. But I sent at least 3 new
I know,
updates.
but the online one still this morning had highway on it.
That would be IT, should have had that all done on Friday.
I don't see that on here.
No,
I
it's
have-
not here anymore, no, but it was earlier.
Oh, okay.
And
We'll have
that's
to
what
ask
Neil
them
saw
when they-
online this morning, that it was on for this meeting. And I checked it out, I was in,
Well, then maybe IT only put it on this morning, when they should have had it on last week.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
There's been a
follow
little
up on that.
confusion in my mind about the whole thing.
And normally you'll be getting the agenda sooner for but it's my first time putting this all together, and so I apologize that it is late on getting that. That should be earlier to you.
I haven't even started to worry about that one yet,
Okay, yeah.
so.
I want to have it all wrapped up before I send it out, and so there were different things that were coming in and changing, so we were waiting for some data on things, so.
Okay. Anything else? If not, motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. See you tomorrow.
You bet. See
See
ya.
you tomorrow, Dave.